For a deeper look into the school supply shortage, let's bring in Burt Flickinger. Burt is Managing Director at the Strategic Resource Group. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Rachelle.
So how has the back-to-school shopping season gone so far compared to last year when most students were still learning virtually?
The back-to-school season is off to a slightly better start, but it's not as good as the National Retail Federation projected for a few reasons. One, as Karina cited, inflation is cutting purchasing. About 2/3 of U.S. shoppers polled by First Insight are concerned about going to stores and interacting with retail sales associates in the stores. And also people are postponing purchases because they're not sure whether students will be educated at home again in September or whether they'll be back in school. So back to school is doing okay, but it's stalled out and it probably will not set a record this season.
So against the backdrop of the pandemic, have schools perhaps adjusted the sort of resources that students will need? What are families primarily buying?
Families are buying computers, they're buying furniture, and the real irony, Rachelle, is the record obesity of students and parents in the U.S. who are overweight to severely obese during COVID has increased people's clothing sizes by about 2 clothing sizes for boys, girls, women, and men. But clothing sales, while good, as reported by the U.S. Department of Commerce last month, were still slightly negative versus the prior month.
And it certainly doesn't help that some families have been talking about the lack of basic goods, for example, your pens, your pencils, some electronic goods that's on the store shelves. What's behind the low inventory, and what can people really do if they can't find these things?
The key thing for people who can't find them is look for as many stores as possible and buy it tomorrow or this week. Certainly don't wait until school starts. Home Depot reported today that it's already sold out its first shipment of Halloween goods for Halloween October 31st in the U.S. The other issues are really the global supply chain, shortage of seafarers, shortage of ships, shortage of containers, and shortage of goods from the PRC, Southeast Asia, and the Americas. And that problem does not look like it's going to get better until 2022. So there'll be a lot of empty shelves, both for back to school and for October, November, December holiday sales in the U.S. and fall, winter 2021.
And as you mentioned, there have also been concerns in recent months about the higher inflation. How are these higher prices affecting people's shopping plans and their shopping habits?
Rachelle, we're seeing that according to First Insight, slightly over half of consumers are proactively cutting back their purchases because of inflation. And the biggest areas of inflation are food away from home for fast food restaurants, McDonald's, Burger King, etc., where prices are up about 6%. Food at home is increased only a little bit less than 1%. So as people are seeing restaurant prices too high, they're seeing gasoline and petrol prices too high, and they're seeing prices of protein, especially livestock, for chicken, for pork, being especially high. People are being very cautious, and we're actually writing a new book, The Explosive Growth of Private Label, and people are switching from brands to private label, both in consumables and wearables. And that's why Target is doing so well, because Target has made a pronounced shift to private label, as has many other leading retailers who are outperforming in the States as well as worldwide.
And you did mention that back-to-school shopping is off to a slower start. So as we look ahead then, will the back-to-school success carry over into the holiday shopping season necessarily?
Yes, the back-to-school success will carry over to the holiday season, but our Strategic Resource Group forecast is holiday sales will be up 3% in U.S. dollars, but down -1% in units sold. So back to holiday sales will set an all-time record based on dollars, but those will be inflated sales but in units, we will not be setting a record in units sold this October, November, December holiday sales period.
All right, thank you. Always great to get your insights. Burt Flickinger there, Managing Director at the Strategic Resource Group.